Mhm. Hey guys, what am I doing? It's one of the gadgets that I use for my mouth and my tooth tooth care. So what we want to talk about today are what are the important things that you need to know about how to keep your teeth as long as possible and also reduce your risk of chronic inflammatory disorders, things like heart attacks, strokes. Because what we understand is that the bacteria in your mouth contribute to inflammation in your body. And we've even found in plaques from people who had heart attacks, the plaques are what fill up the blood vessels and make it so the blood can't flow through there. We found organisms that we know have come from the person's mouth. So it's important not just for you to keep your choppers, but for you to be able to avoid heart attacks, avoid strokes, avoid cardiovascular disease, and other inflammatory issues that come when you have problems with your gums and gingivitis. So let's talk about those tools. The first question is brushing teeth, right? Yes, 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 you should brush your teeth. Do you need to get an electric toothbrush? Is that going to help you? Well, looking at this study, this would tell you that, yeah, it actually is better for getting in the back. It's just hard to reach back there, right? And if you have an electric toothbrush, it's much more likely you're going to be able to reach and remove plaque from um, the back of your teeth. The other thing I want to caution you is when you do get your electric toothbrush, if you have amalgams, this might be a reason to just do it manually. Um, if you wail on amalgams, they are releasing mercury. In fact, there's been a nice study showing that the mercury levels in the air in your mouth for people who have some amalgams, at times it's higher than what would be recommended by the Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, so amalgams do release mercury vapor, and and wailing on them with an electric toothbrush is not recommended. I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about that, but it's just I'm going to link below a video where you guys can watch how just rubbing an eraser on a mercury amalgam, a tooth that's been extracted, releases mercury vapor. Okay, and whenever we're chewing, we're releasing that. And so, I do think that it's a good idea to slowly get your amalgams removed if possible, because when I see people with Alzheimer's, one of the first things we'll do is look in the mouth and go, what's going on in there? Are the gums good? Is it healthy? Is there a bunch of mercury? And that could be a very big problem. So do you need to get the electric toothbrush? Well, if you have a mouth full of amalgams, maybe you just want to use your manual. And then the next question is, but I think if that's not you, then an electric toothbrush is a good idea. It clearly shows a reduction in plaques. So the next question is how to clean the toothbrush. In general, we do want to be changing out our toothbrushes or and trying to clean them in the meantime. What is the best to clean your toothbrush? There's these specialized UV cleaners. There's different things you could pour on your toothbrush, but honest to goodness, when I look at the research, it's vinegar, guys. 50% vinegar. You can even use we're talking about household vinegar. It's good for cleaning a lot, like you guys learned in a previous video. So clean your toothbrush with vinegar is a good idea. 50%, you just, scrub that brush and then it's going to be staying cleaner. We do want to be trading out toothbrushes also. And so but making sure that we keep the head clean. The next thing that I think is very interesting is looking at a device like this. Now, this is a combination of ultrasound and blue light at different levels. And I got this because this looked interesting to me. And there were some studies showing an improvement using an ultrasonic toothbrush. And this has that combination of blue light and ultrasonic. And y'all know I like light stuff. Blue light or violet light can reduce bacterial load, kill viruses. And so this seemed like a very interesting idea. And I'm going to tell you about my tooth regimen at the end. This is called a MYST, MYST, and I think it costs around $100, and my teeth are much whiter. Okay, they sell these in conjunction with whitening kit, and I didn't use the whitening kit at all. And I am a coffee drinker, so I had some coffee stains, And I noticed that with this, my teeth are getting whiter. Very interesting, without using any of the whitening agents. When we look at, let's talk about the whitening agents. Should you get your teeth white? I feel worried about this technology. Generally speaking, it's using hydrogen peroxide. Most of the whitening agents are using hydrogen peroxide, and we know this can damage the dentin and the pulp of the tooth if it gets in the wrong place. So, and it is a carcinogen. So, I know that they try and make safe products, but that's one of those things where if maybe you can do it without using something like using the whitening agent, makes a lot of sense, and that's hydrogen peroxide, generally speaking. So I don't think that tooth whitening, if we're going to try and be really low toxicity, I don't think a tooth whitening product would be something I would put in my mouth. Um, and I'm a little bit of a purist there. So, what other interesting things might you be asking? One is whether or not a water pick is better than regular flossing. And I think that is, oh, I'm going to just share with you real quick here. Here's that study looking at the difference of different bleaching protocols and the problems with them, as well as, oh, I must have. I'm sorry. That other one I lost. So that I must have jumped off of that page. Okay, so now we're talking. The next thing we're going to talk about is flossing. Flossing versus water pick, which is better? Um, there are studies showing improvement in the and reduction in certain measurements of tooth health when you use a water pick versus regular flossing. Um, but it wasn't true for all the measures. And um, I know that my dentist suggests a water pick to get those funky areas. And so, I mean, I think that me personally, I'm a pretty big flosser. But when I go in there and I do my regimen, my teeth feel so much cleaner, and I'm trying to work on reducing my pockets so that I have very healthy gums, right? So now the other thing is using some kind of dental paste. Like, for instance, this is ozonated tooth and gum paste. If you have a problem and you're trying to fix something, ozonated paste is an idea. And then the other product I will use is Biocidin. Biocidin makes a toothpaste that you could brush your teeth with, and also they have a swish around your mouth to try and get the microbiome of the mouth happier and so that it is really healthy in there. So now what I do when I am going to brush my teeth, the first thing that I will do is because this guy as a toothbrush, I do not think it's adequate to remove, like if there's food and stuff. I always start with flossing. So I will use the water pick first, and I'm trying to get in between and trying to hit the bottom of the gum first. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is do a quick, like, brush of the teeth with a manual toothbrush, quick brush around using a nourishing toothpaste. I do not use toothpastes that have fluoride in them. Now, this is a personal decision, but I know that fluoride can affect thyroid because the fluoride looks very much like iodine chemically. And fluoride could be put into your thyroid hormone instead. And that leads to non functioning thyroid hormone. So we know in places with fluoridated water, there's more problems with the thyroid, interestingly. So I personally don't use fluoride in my toothpaste. And I use instead a nourishing toothpaste. And I'll put a few links below to some options if you wanted to find a non fluoride toothpaste that you knew would nourish the gums. So I'll do a quick brush around with my manual toothbrush after I have flossed with using my water pick. And then I'm going to get in there with um, my ultrasonic toothbrush, my rotary toothbrush, and I'm going to make sure I'm not hitting it too hard, but I'm going to go around all the teeth, all the surfaces. After that, I know that this is a little bit long, but I'm serious about this affects your health. The next thing I do is I put a little bit more of that nourishing toothpaste, and then I use this guy for a couple minutes. And when I'm done, my teeth feel awesome, and I can tell that my gums are getting healthier because when the dentist goes in there and they measures the depth of the pockets, that will start to improve when you guys do this. Lastly, I just purchased this product from BioPure, the ozonated. So it's um, olive oil with ozone in it, and I'm going to put that on the gum spots that I've had problems with. Before, I had to have a transplant, like a gum transplant, in an area when I was like in my 20s. I don't ever want to have do that again, and I don't want to have risk of heart disease because based on what's happening in my mouth. The other thing we know is that chronic issues in the mouth, like root canals, sometimes can be affecting the whole body. Each of the teeth is associated with a dental meridian, with a an acupuncture meridian, and sometimes and the middle teeth being very important teeth. So when you go to certain integrative and holistic providers, they will look and see on which meridians you're having issues and look and see if there's a tooth problem in the tooth that is on that meridian. And sometimes they can reverse whole body issues by addressing a tooth. Isn't that interesting? So your tooth and mouth care is very important for you long term. And it's something that we don't, it's not something we talk about very much. And in functional medicine, we probably need to talk about it more because it's so, so, so important. Um, and so, once again, I recommend a water pick. Good idea. The trick is when you do it, you have to get your mouth right over the sink, right? So you don't spray water everywhere. That's the hardest thing is learning to use it, but you can do it. And I mean, I like this mist device. Getting a electric toothbrush. Don't wail on your amalgam fillings, and I'll see you on the next video.